Every season there are hundreds of players who perform well beyond what most people expected of them, or far below, and this season is no exception. Today's video is all about those who have gone above and beyond most people's expectations this season, certainly surprising me, and I suspect most of you too. If you would like to see the reverse of this video, 7 players who have been surprisingly bad this season, let us know in the comments and I'll try to gauge whether that's a video worthy of making in the coming weeks. Thanks to new subscriber Daniel Kaprevsky for this video suggestion, who only started subscribing to HITC Sevens a month ago, but has already suggested this idea on many occasions. I believe the suggestion was the most liked comment on my recent video looking at the best midfielders in world football at every age, and we weren't nicknamed the People's Channel for nothing. Make sure you too are subscribed to HITC Sevens, which is officially the 22nd best football channel on YouTube. But without further ado, here are 7 footballers who've surprised everyone this season. Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Everton have had a centre-forward problem ever since Romelu Lukaku left the club in 2017, with the likes of Wayne Rooney, Sandro Ramirez and Cenk Tosun all coming and going, albeit only going out on loan in Ramirez and Tosun's cases. Last summer, another striker came in, and Moise Kean appeared to be the brightest centre-forward arrival yet. However, the 20-year-old Italian has only found the back of the net once in 26 appearances, and both Marco Silva and Carlo Ancelotti have chosen instead to start a striker who has been at the club since before Lukaku even left. Former Sheffield United youngster Dominic Calvert-Lewin has long threatened to break through at Goodison Park, and he had a very good record for England's under-21s. Prior to this season though, the 23-year-old had only bagged 6 Premier League goals in his most prolific campaign, which was last season. You could be forgiven therefore for beginning to doubt whether Calvert-Lewin was good enough to lead the line for a team with top 6 aspirations. Certainly, I had those exact doubts. This season however, Calvert-Lewin has exploded into life, bagging a goal every other game, giving him a tally of 13 in the Premier League and 15 in all competitions. His form since Ancelotti's arrival has been particularly impressive, putting him in real contention for a spot in Gareth Southgate's Euro 2020 squad before the finals were suspended, and if he can continue in a similar vein going forward, Everton might not need a new centre-forward for a very long time. Alphonso Davies. Subscribers to this channel will know that I'm not especially surprised to see Alphonso Davies performing so well for Bayern Munich, since I've spoken of how impressed I was by him on the handful of occasions in which I saw him in action for Vancouver Whitecaps, but I can't say I ever saw him as a top-class left-back. A fantastic athlete who's willing to commit and beat players, Davies played as a winger for Vancouver Whitecaps, and he still does for the Canadian national team. An injury to Niklas Süle earlier this season prompted Bayern Munich manager Hans-Dieter Flick into an unusual tactical shift though, as he moved David Alaba from the left-back position into centre-back and dropped Davies into the full-back position. The switch proved to be a masterstroke, and Davies' performances have been so impressive that some have begged the question of whether he may remain a full-back even once Süle returns. Either way, the Ghanaian-born Canadian international, who is still only 19, has emphatically proved his class, intelligence and versatility on a football pitch, and wherever he ends up settling on the pitch, it seems almost certain he'll be a big player for the next 10 years at least. KIERAN Trippier. From a makeshift fullback to a lifelong one, some people were surprised when Atletico Madrid signed KIERAN Trippier for £20 million plus last summer. Diego Simeone is renowned for his pragmatic and oftentimes defence-minded approach to games, and his fullbacks over the last 9 years have tended to reflect that fact, more concerned with guarding their own goal than bearing down on the opposition's. Trippier didn't really seem to fit that bill, best known in the Premier League for his adventurous runs and excellent crossing ability. Trippier has long been a talent, and he had a good 2017-18 season, topped off by a terrific showing at the 2018 World Cup, in which some people forget he was quite possibly England's best and certainly their most creative player. The 2018-19 season was less impressive, with Trippier drawing criticism from Spurs fans for his lacklustre defensive displays, and it was for that reason that a move to Atletico seemed strange. His arrival at the Metropolitano Stadium made Trippier the first Englishman to turn out for Atletico in 95 years, but the mattress makers might make a habit of it if future signings from England can replicate Trippier's performances. The 29-year-old has fitted in well with the Atletico philosophy, becoming a lot tougher to beat down the right flank, whilst maintaining a threat going forward. Trippier has the most key passes per game and the 3rd most successful crosses of any defender in La Liga this season, and his form has seen him retain a place in the England squad despite competition from the likes of Trent Alexander-Arnold, Kyle Walker, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Reece James and many others. Josip Ilicic. I suspect this is one that will cause some confusion initially, since followers of Serie A have long known that Josip Ilicic is a serious talent, but do hear me out. This is Josip Ilicic's 10th season in the Italian game, everyone's spent in the top flight, and he's long been considered one of the best players outside of the division's traditional big boys. Technically excellent, highly intelligent, and a menace both from long range and from set pieces, for all his talent, in Ilicic's best season, he had only scored 15 goals in all competitions and 13 in Serie A for Fiorentina. His form over 2.5 seasons since signing for Atalanta means we can safely describe the 32-year-old as a late bloomer, but this season has been above and beyond the expectations of even Ilicic's biggest admirers. The Slovenian attacking midfielder, who has tended to operate more as a second striker in recent times, had scored 21 goals in 29 games when the current season was suspended, including 15 in 21 in the league and 5 in 7 in the Champions League. By most statistical analyses, Ilicic has been the best player in Serie A this season, ahead of Cristiano Ronaldo and Ciro Immobile. In addition to his 15 goals from just 19 starts, Atalanta's talisman has 5 assists, and he ranks among the top 5 players in the division in terms of both key passes per game and dribbles per game. The surprise with Ilicic isn't that he's gone from being bad to good, but rather that he has gone from good to truly spectacular, and that's why he makes this 7. Josip. The top 3 in this 7 are all players whose performances this season have blown my mind, never mind surprised me. From Diego Forlan to Roberto Soldado, there have been plenty of strikers who have struggled to score in England's top flight, either having previously or later going on to be prolific in La Liga. That alone is not enough to surprise me, in case any of you think I've only been following football for the last 12 months. With someone like Diego Forlan though, it didn't take a genius to realise that he had real talent. He just couldn't quite string it all together at Old Trafford. The same cannot be said for Josip, whose seasons with Stoke and 2 seasons with Newcastle United were really unimpressive. Prior to his arrival in the Premier League, Josip had a couple of decent seasons in the Bundesliga, but he looked slow, wasteful and laboured during his time in England. There was no facet of his game that even showed the slightest hint of potential, at least when I watched him, with the possible exception of his movement in attacking areas. Josip left Newcastle last summer in a return to Spain, joining La Liga outfit Deportivo Alaves. In his 23 starts in the league this season, it's no exaggeration to say Josip has been among the league's best performing forwards. Among the standout players outside of La Liga's top 6 or 7, only 8 players have scored more La Liga goals than Josip with 9 this season, and his all-round game has earned plaudits and has surely surprised anyone who saw him playing in England. Fred. I included Fred in a video I made a couple of months back about 7 footballers who have rediscovered their form this season, and I was keen not to have too much overlap between the 2 videos. There are only 2 players who feature in both, so feel free to check that video out after this should you be interested, but there's no way I could leave Fred out of this 7. I am always happy to hold my hands up and admit when I am wrong, and I'm happy to concede that I was too quick to write off the talents of Manchester United midfielder Fred last season. Upon his arrival at Old Trafford, and only having watched him a handful of times at Shakhtar, I wasn't quite sure what he was. He didn't break up play like Fernandinho, he didn't have quick feet, nor was he an excellent passer of the ball or playmaker. All in all, it seemed like he was a jack of all trades, but a master of none, and it's worth remembering, Manchester United paid £52 million for the Brazilian. This season has been a whole different kettle of fish, with Fred among the most effective box-to-box players in the league and one of the first names on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's team sheet. Virtually every time I've seen United play this season, I've been impressed by the Brazilian, who's brought energy off the ball and a newfound composure on it, stepping up a notch further during the short time Bruno Fernandes has been at the club. Fred's rejuvenation has been credited to his new physical trainer Tulio Horta, and whatever his methods, it appears to be working. Theo Hernandez. This time 12 months ago, many people were willingly disregarding Theo Hernandez's talents and throwing him onto the scrap heap of once promising, but ultimately underachieving footballers. The first player to cross the Atletico Real divide since the year 2000, Theo Hernandez broke the Madrid rivals' gentleman's agreement in 2017, so keen were Real Madrid to snap up the Frenchman. Just 2 years on, Hernandez had only made 13 La Liga appearances for Real, he was still awaiting his first cap for France, and he'd failed to impress on loan at Real Sociedad. The situation looked bleak. Meanwhile, his previously less appreciated brother Lucas had won a World Cup with France, established himself with Atletico, and become the 3rd most expensive defender in the world in a £68 million move to Bayern Munich. Theo had some serious catching up to do, and a move to Crisis Central, also known as AC Milan, seemed like a risky move for the troubled 22-year-old. Hernandez's resurgence in Milan has been truly spectacular, and whilst the club themselves continue to be an absolute circus, he is arguably the best fullback in Italian football this season. Not only has Hernandez conducted himself expertly in monitoring the left flank, he's also chipped in with 6 goals, making the club's second top scorer and only 1 goal off their top scorer. It's not surprising that Hernandez has improved, the only way was up after the last couple of seasons, but his meteoric rise and tremendous season has come as a surprise to me, and I think to most within the world of football. That is it for today's video. Obviously there are far more than 7 players who have surprised us all this season, but on the off chance that this video absolutely storms it, I will leave open the possibility of making a part 2 and refrain from reeling off too many honourable mentions who could feature here. Thank you all for watching, give us a like if you enjoyed the video, and stay safe out there. Oh, and subscribe. I mean, most importantly stay safe, but if you are safe and you'd like to watch some videos about football, feel free to also subscribe to HITC Sevens.